listen, I mean, the Jordan Poole thing, for those who are not clear on what it is I mean and what he obviously means, they needed to get rid of Jordan Poole. They did. Did that lift a weight from this team?
It definitely took an issue out of the locker room, right? And, I mean, look at Jordan Poole now in Washington with a bad team throwing alley-oops off the backboard down 21 points. And what you did is show that you didn't like him so much that you'd rather have a guy you can't stand in Chris Paul as a teammate. That's how much they didn't like Jordan Poole. We'll take a guy that was a mortal enemy and make him a teammate, and he's actually been a much better fit. You brought in a grown-up.
Well, bringing in those kind of guys, it has worked historically. That's what Dennis Rodman was to the Chicago Bulls, and they brought him in because they needed him, and it worked. I don't know how significant a role Paul is going to play here, but we will see. Monica, let's come to you. The Warriors look good. Steph Curry looks 10 years younger than he is. He is aging every bit as well as LeBron is. Let's talk about it. I mean, give me the Warriors are a team people love so much and kind of get left out of a lot of the conversation this offseason. How good are they?
Okay, so when I looked at the Warriors last night, I thought this is a crafty veteran squad, right? And that's what we're having the opportunity to watch. I still think, though, that size might come into play, and it might be a problem. I'm looking at the box score from last night. 36-48 is the rebound margin, right? And mind you, it takes a sort of heroic shot from Klay Thompson for them ultimately to pull this game out. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to roll over teams and beat them by 15-plus points. The West is entirely too deep this year. But I do wonder, as we get into the series and we get late in season, with so many teams with size in the West in particular, I just wonder how they're going to work around that.
Well, Monica, like to say they barely beat them, they beat a really good team.
Yeah.
That's what they did, and they did it using their bench was terrific. And if they're going to be any good this year, it's going to have to be that their bench was good. We know what the big three bring. We already know what Steph Curry brings. Klay Thompson made a big shot. It's good to see him finding his game again, and Draymond being healthy, that makes a difference. Their starting five is as good as any starting five in the league. It was always about their depth. And now that you have all the initials, I'll give you, GP2, CP3. They also have Kuminga. They have Saric, who played really well as their big. Those four with Klay as the bench brigade had a great second half. If they can get that production, they're going to be very good.
They're a fun team to watch, as they have been. Yeah, go ahead, Monica. I want to get to
I agree with you, but I would just counterpoint that. How often does a team that gets out-rebounded by 12 points win in the NBA? Like, that's my only thing.
They make shots, that's
right.
why. They got
shots. Incredible shot makers.
Yeah.
You do it making threes, and we see if that's what winds up happening. All right, the feature is called Is That McNutts? I will make a statement, and Monica, you will tell us whether or not it is McNutts. I'm going to tell you that if Zion is healthy this year, he is a legitimate contender to win MVP. Is that McNutts?
Listen, I do not think this is McNutts. I was courtside last night for the Pelicans-Thunder game. Zion is a specimen. His ability to get to his spots, finish through contact, get off the ground a second time on offensive rebounds, this isn't crazy in my mind. Not only is it not crazy because of who he is, but that team around him is actually very good. If he is healthy, remember where they were last year before he got injured in the Western Conference standings.
All right, next, the Mavericks are unbeaten. If I said Luka and Kyrie are going to lead that team to a top 4 finish in the West, is that McNutts?
This one is stressing me out, Greeny. You know this one is stressing me out. Okay, I'm going to build on my first, not McNutts. If the Pelicans are healthy with Zion, I think they've got a shot at the top 4. So I'm going to go this one being McNutts because I would have the Mavs just slightly outside around like 5. The Mavs, no doubt, will be a playoff team in my mind. And it's going to be really close. We know those 4 and 5 matchups historically are really, really tight. I'm just going to go McNutts just a little bit right now because I'm super optimistic on the Pelicans.
So we'll go just a little McNutts. The top of the West is so good. One more. Let's go to the East. If I said the Celtics are the biggest threat in the whole league to stopping Denver from repeating, is that McNutts?
As of today, that is not McNutts. And I'll admit, I was a Bucks over Celtics person, and then the Drew Holiday trade unfolded. But beyond the Drew Holiday piece, I actually think Kristaps Porzingis is sort of unlocking some of the promise and the optimism that was around him. Now, he's another guy, if he can stay healthy, but I do think he's a bit of an X factor and sort of changes the dynamic for the Celtics offensively and defensively.
Talk to me, Alan. How about it? How about Celtics, Bucks, top of the East?
Yeah, I mean, that right now, that's how it's setting up. I mean, I can't believe, how did the Celtics get better than the Bucks when the Bucks made the trade for Damian Lillard? Because we had thought maybe the Bucks were above Boston because of the moves they made, losing Marcus Smart. I mean, this is like, you know, that Grinch smile gif that we see all the time.
Yeah.
Like that is when that trade went down and all of a sudden Drew Holiday's available and then now he's in green. I mean, what in the red Auerbach is going on here? That they got better when the Bucks were the team that got Lillard. They have all the pieces. They should be the better team now because the Bucks went from a team that shows you how much they miss Drew. They don't play any defense.
Nope.
So one thing the Celtics do. And then the smart thing that's very understated, of course, is coaching was a bit of an issue last year, some inexperience, right? So what do you do to help that? You bring in an advisor. You bring in Jeff Van Gundy, the professor. You have a guy like him around now to lean on. That also makes them better.
And I'm a huge Drew Holiday fan. To me, he's a winning player. He'll give you 20 points when you need it. He'll shut down your best player when you need him to do that.